Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Week 11 of the Pokemon Stadium 2 Draft League. It doesn't seem like we're at Week 11 already, but we are. We got some exciting matchups for you here today. We're going to be taking place at the Little Cup here. I will be right back in just a moment with the first matchup, but before we start, don't forget if you like what you see here today, to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that YouTube nonsense. Really helps out the channel a lot. And without further ado, we'll fast forward to me a few minutes from now. Thank you, me, from a few minutes ago. Our first matchup of the day, we are the Machampion and the Tampa Bay Steelix. All right. Big matchup today. If the Steelix lose, they will have a losing record for the first time all season. So that's an interesting development, and we are the Machampion, need a win to stay in the playoff race. Alright, let's see what we got here. Machamp, well, I tried to rely on special attack last week, and it bit me in the butt, so we're not going to really count Thunder Punch, and what's the other one it has? Fire Punch. We're mostly going to go by submission. So, although we might use Thunder Punch if we get desperate, of course, or Fire Punch. There's two Steel types, so we don't want to throw Muck out there. I mean, it might be able to Dynamic Punch Magneton at least, but Sludge will be ineffective. We don't want it against Mr. Mime. Neutral battle with Qwilfish. In fact, I think Qwilfish most likely wins that. So pretty much just Magmar and Jumpluff for Muck. I'm going to start with Wobbuffet, I think, because with exception to Thunder Wave, Wobbuffet could actually be used to beat some of the Pokemon. So I'm leaning toward that. Donphan can hurt 3 of the Pokemon really badly. It's not so great against 2 to 3 of the others. Ursaring I'm going to save for later. Suicune has mixed results. I think we're going to start Wobbuffet and see where we go from there. All right, first matchup of the day, Week 11. So we got Wobbuffet leading off. All right, Mr. Mime. Not really the ideal one because you're probably going to baton pass from building up your defense. The best thing that could fight you right now would be something that's not going to be a physical attacker. So let's go to Suicune. There's my water. I was like, where did I put my water at? Yep, barrier. There we go. Yeah, I'm glad I switched, because Wobbuffet wouldn't be able to do anything against barrier, so... I'm going to try to outsmart the computer here and Roar to get rid of it before it can baton pass. Yep, good call, good call. I thought it might try to sneak one more barrier in there. Because that's how I would have played it, too. Roar actually doing something for competitive. Oh, man, what a draw. You get the Magmar out here. Let's see. I'm imagining either Qwilfish or Jumpluff will come in. I'm going to predict and go Gust. Okay, they didn't switch. Alright, we fought through it at least. Well, I'm going to leave Suicune in. Because I don't think that Magmar's going to do much. I'm going to try Bubble Beam. I'm sure they'll switch now. They didn't. Interesting. I don't know why the game has a vendetta against Magmar. To leave it in against a Suicune. Not confused already. Wow, after one turn. Bubble Beam hits. Alright, the game's basically throwing away Magmar, as the Steelix manager. I don't like seeing that, but as the controlling manager for We Are the Mod Champion this week, that's great for the team I'm battling with. Wow, okay, so Magmar did nothing. Thanks a lot, game. Suicune getting the knockout. Could have easily switched into, like, Quillfish at any time, but alright. Alright, Magneton. Let's go Donphan. My lighting has not been that great as of late. Let's see if I can add a little bit of light here. Ooh, spooky. Nah, I don't think it's helping much. Alright, let's see here. Got some stuff to turn off real quick. There we go. We don't want alarms going off during the middle of this. Alright. They should switch. I'm going to go Sandstorm. I'm going to be livid if they don't switch. Alright. Alright, we got the Sandstorm up. Alright, come here, Muck. Leech Seed. Alright, that's not the best situation for us. But the easy solution to that is to switch Pokemon. Let's put Donphan back in, see if they switch, because we have a poison type out there. Surely they're not leaving Jumpluff in against a poison type, right? Like they did Magmar against Suicune. Alright. Well, that doesn't help us a whole lot. What can I put in against Skarmory? Well, since we're a ground type, I assume they're going to use Fly and not Steel Wing. I could be wrong, though. Let's put Wobbuffet in. Because if they get locked into Fly, we can set up for counter. They did do Steel Wing. Alright. Alright, let's try counter. They're going to switch, aren't they? Yep. Alright, so what is their response to Wobbuffet? Alright, Mr. Mime again, so we're back to square one. Okay. But now I know. Alright, Sandstorm's gone. Let's put Suicune back out there. Yeah, except for Mr. Mime, Suicune doesn't really help us out much against the remaining Pokemon. Maybe Skarmory? Maybe? But realistically speaking, Suicune will lose to Magneton, Quillfish, or Jumpluff. So, it's got a limited use for us at this point. It is good for roaring out Mr. Mime, though. Alright, that's not what we wanted. Oh, we're in a tough spot. I guess Wobbuffet? Because if I put Muck in to take the Sludge Bomb, then we have Muck using nothing but Dynamic Punch or Double Slap against Quillfish, who could just Hydro Pump. Alright, alright. I'm going to call the bluff and say they go Hydro Pump this turn. Let's go Mirror Coat. Man, the computer, I think it cheats. Like, whenever they have a physical and a special attack, I never seem to get it right. Alright, Quillfish takes out the Wobbuffet. Alright, well, at least now we get the switch for free. How about... we have Ursaring and Donphan. If we go Ursaring, they'll switch during our dig. If we go Donphan, they'll switch before we get Earthquake. Let's try Machamp. We do have Thunder Punch. It's not a lot, but if we would get like a Paralysis, maybe we could take it down. Alright, did a third damage to us. No poison at least. Super effective. Not as much as I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping for that Paralysis, so it would be slower than us. But alright, maybe we'll get it this turn. Alright, no poison again. If we get a Paralysis, Machamp can win this head-to-head. Nope. Alright, well, still some good work. Still some good work by Machamp. Hey there, everybody. Future Travis chiming in. Unfortunately, from this point of the video, the original audio was lost. I do not think it was the microphone's fault in this case. I'm not sure if it was it was something to do with my computer. I don't know if it was the computer itself, if it was the OBS, if it was the Elgato. I'm not sure what caused it, but something happened to get rid of the audio. And unfortunately, I was not able to tell that the audio was not going until literally about the last 10 seconds of the recording. So here we are. I'm going to do my best to provide commentary during the matchups. And if I can remember what I said in key situations, I will try to reenact those situations. Yeah. As I'm speaking right now, my computer is having issues. I'm not sure why. But I will do my very best to try and get this done right for everybody. So here we go. Let's resume the battle. So at this point, what had happened is Machamp goes down. And I'm actually going to remove the music for the time being. I know that stinks a little bit, but the reason for it being that there was this harsh beeping sound. I'll play it. I'll turn it back on for a minute so you guys can hear what I'm talking about. See? Let me see if maybe just turning the volume down on that will help. So there's at least something in the background, but not as crazy. But anyway, there's the volume up real quick. I'm just going to turn it off. So yeah, Suicune comes out against Quillfish here. The idea was I was going to gust it, or if it switched out, I was going to go with something else. But then I thought, Bubble Beam with Stab is going to actually do more damage than Gust, and that's true. The calculations work out that way, so I go Bubble Beam here. I know it's not very effective, but it will do more damage than Gust, so I ultimately decide to go with Bubble Beam. Right now, what's happening is, like I said, I'm kind of doing those rough calculations in my head here. So the game goes first with Quillfish. It uses Sludge Bomb. Suicune takes some damage. Actually, takes the damage better than I expected originally. I thought it would take like half health. There's the Bubble Beam. So close with 5 health. So close. But Gust wouldn't have knocked it out either, so that was the right call. So I go for Bubble Beam again. Or maybe I do go Gust this time. I don't remember. Critical hit Sludge Bomb, of course. There's the Gust. And the Quillfish will go down. So at this point, we're at a 2-2 battle as far as Pokemon that have been knocked out. Both teams have 4 Pokemon remaining. Yeah, it really does stink to take out some of the music here, but like the only way for me to turn it back on is for you guys to deal with the incessant noise that also comes along with it from where the audio was scrambled, messed up, whatever you want to call it. So, unfortunately, you just got to settle for me and my commentary as the only noise for the remainder of this. So, Jumpluff comes in. I take out Suicune. And the reason I do that is looking at who was left. Suicune can, except for Jumpluff, it could outspeed Skarmory, it could outspeed Magneton, and it could maybe outspeed Mr. Mime. I wasn't sure on that one. But even though it was lacking health, it could come in handy if another Pokemon was low health, it could go first and take it out. So I wanted to save Suicune at this point. Muck goes in, and I believe I decided to go for Dynamic Punch because they're not going to leave Jumpluff in. Surely the game's not going to leave Jumpluff in and take a Sludge, especially with 2 Steel types being selected for the Steelix this week. So I ultimately decided to go for Dynamic Punch, hoping that I could either A, get a super effective hit if it's Magneton, or B, if it's Skarmory, maybe at least confuse it. So there's the switch that I predicted. And ultimately, Skarmory comes out. We go Dynamic Punch, and we actually hit it on the first try and get a critical hit, which also shows you how high Skarmory's defense is that we got a critical hit and we barely did half health. Skarmory's confused. It fights through it and hits us with Steel Wing. But it didn't do a whole lot here. I'm debating on I go with 1 Acid Armor, try and buy us some time. I don't get carried away with it and do a bunch. We just do 1 Acid Armor. I go for another Dynamic Punch because, I can't hit it with Sludge, so that's really my only other option. Skarmory confused again. This time hits itself. So Muck trying Dynamic Punch number 2. We miss. So 1 for 2 on the Dynamic Punch so far. Get 3 more tries at it. The confusion is gone already for Skarmory. Unfortunate. We go for Dynamic Punch number 3. Another miss. So at this point, it's just stay in and Dynamic Punch. That's our best shot. Here comes another Steel Wing, which hasn't missed yet. It hits there again. 95% accurate. It shouldn't miss that often, but it does miss sometimes. We get a second Dynamic Punch to hit. We get the confusion because that's automatic when Dynamic Punch hits. So we got 1 more Dynamic Punch to work with. Skarmory's confused. Once again, breaking through and using Steel Wing, it gets a critical hit and takes out Muck, so we'll never know if that last Dynamic Punch was going to land or not. So, the advantage goes to the Tampa Bay Steelix at this point. 4 Pokemon remaining to 3. But remember, I saved Suicune in case it could outspeed some Pokemon. So I'm going to put it in here against Skarmory. And I'm going to go Bubble Beam. And at this moment, I'm remembering, oh yeah, Jumpluff is still around for the other team, so probably shouldn't have thrown in Suicune yet. So Jumpluff comes back out. And there's our Bubble Beam, which isn't going to do a whole lot. Yeah, as I said. So we got Jumpluff dancing around out there. Suicune retreats. And I believe we brought in Ursaring. I believe I brought in Ursaring. Yep, Ursaring comes in for We Are the Mod Champion. It does have Fire Punch. That's kind of the logic here. Alright, so Giga Drain, Mega Drain does not hurt us much. So, yeah, Ursaring and Jumpluff here. I thought about what I was going to do here for a little bit, but I ended up settling for Fire Punch, I believe. Ursaring's interesting because with this rest, with it being able to rest, and it's actually got a pretty good amount of health, it can be a very strong Pokemon, but because it's so slow, it's very hard sometimes to make a judgment call on which turn to use rest. There's Fire Punch. Pretty good hit. Leech Seed gives some of the health back to Jumpluff, but it's still better to stay in and keep Fire Punching at this point. Headbutt. So flinching is on the table. We could flinch, but we don't this turn. There's our Fire Punch. Pretty good hit. Another Fire Punch ought to take it out, even with the Leech Seed. So we're at 170 health. So we're about half health. The idea is let's Fire Punch it. Next turn we'll try to rest. The game gets a critical hit. So now we don't have as much health to try and survive a hit to get a rest off. And so you can't predict that stuff. Like, how was I supposed to know the game was going to get a critical hit and I should have rested that turn? Right? Like, if it would have been normal damage, I could have survived one more hit and gone with the rest. But, oh well, what are you going to do? So we got Mr. Mime against Ursaring. We don't really have anything we could switch into that'll take a Psybeam. So let's see if we can rest. We're going to try to take on this hit. I didn't have very high hopes. Let's see if we get lucky. We do not. Mr. Mime takes out Ursaring. That is the second time this season that something wacky happened right before the turn I wanted to rest, and Ursaring had to go down. We still have a chance to win this, though. We've got Donphan and Suicune. The idea is if we can get by Mr. Mime with some Earthquake, we can. I mean, obviously Magneton's 4 times weak to Earthquake, so we can take it down with Earthquake. And regarding Skarmory, we know Suicune can speed it. So what I do here, I'm having to make a choice. I'm debating between Earthquake and Rapid Spin. I ultimately go Rapid Spin because I'm almost certain that the game's going to put Skarmory out there predicting the Earthquake. Sandstorm won't help us here because Magneton and Skarmory are both Steel types. So if they're going to switch, Sandstorm doesn't help us at this moment. So they do switch as expected, so the Rapid Spin ended up being a good call. But here's the problem with Rapid Spin. You'll see it this turn. Not only was it only 13 damage, that was with a critical hit, only 13 damage. So, Rapid Spin is not going to get the job done for Donphan here. And we need Donphan to have quite a bit of health so it stands a chance against Mr. Mime. So, oh boy, so I'm doing the calculations in my head right now. Okay, if it uses Steel Wing, will Suicune survive the not very effective hit with only 54 health? I'm going back and forth on that. Thinking, okay, well, what if we stay in and do Rapid Spin? Well, it's going to hit us with like 4 or 5 Steel Wing. So, ultimately, the better gamble is to go with Suicune, hope it survives, and then also hope it outspeeds the Skarmory. Because I was pretty confident it would outspeed, but I wasn't sure. I was going off a gut feeling, not a factual feeling. So there's the Steel Wing. Suicune survives. It hangs on. So now Bubble Beam. Do we go first? I know for a fact we can do the damage if we go first. We do go first. Here comes the Bubble Beam. And Skarmory goes down. We have met the conditions needed to give We Are the Mod Champion a chance to win this. Because Donphan can just Earthquake everything else into oblivion, potentially. So we have Suicune at 21 health against Mr. Mime. Obviously, we're not going to switch at this point. We're just going to stay in and try to get some damage off on it. So we go for Bubble Beam, but Mr. Mime is faster than Suicune. So it's going to take it out with a Psybeam. So, unfortunate series of events there, but that's how it goes sometimes. So, we're down to Mr. Mime and Magneton against Donphan. Let's get Donphan out there. Now, I didn't know who was going to be faster in Donphan and Mr. Mime, because I know Donphan's not that fast, but like I said, I wasn't really sure about Mr. Mime's speed. Mr. Mime is faster. It's going to get up a barrier, which means our Earthquake is already going to do less than expected. So here comes that Earthquake. How much is it going to do? Do we still get a decent chunk? And we get about a third of its health. So now I make the decision, let's go for Sandstorm, so we can get some passive damage even if Mr. Mime's building up its defenses, which it is. So the idea was, let's go Sandstorm, and then if we could get lucky enough to get a critical hit, maybe we could take it out and have a chance. Because critical hits ignore defensive boost. They hit the Pokemon as if it had its normal defenses. So if we get a critical hit, Mr. Mime would almost certainly go down. And even if we don't get a critical hit, the combination of Earthquake and Sandstorm ought to help in a turn or two. So here comes Mr. Mime attacking with Psybeam. Did about what I expected damage-wise, so we're okay. Here comes our second Earthquake. Not a lot, but we do have Sandstorm helping us out. So all we need to do is hit Mr. Mime one more time, whether it's Earthquake or Sandstorm. It'll go down. We'll have a chance against Magneton. Mr. Mime coming at us with one more Psybeam. And it gets the Confusion. Now we've got an obstacle to deal with. First turn of Confusion, we hit ourselves. So, uh-oh. We know the Sandstorm's going to take out Mr. Mime, but now with only 65 health, do we survive Swift from Magneton? We're in a situation, Earthquake is 4 times effective on Magneton. So if we survive, and we don't hit ourselves in Confusion, we can one-shot Magneton with Earthquake. So either team can win on this turn. This will be the last turn of the game, depending on what happens. This will decide who wins. We Are the Mod Champion or the Steelix. Here comes Magneton Swift. Donphan survives. If it can get through the Confusion, We Are the Mod Champion wins. It does not get through the Confusion. And the Tampa Bay Steelix are the winners. Shocker that the computer, by the way, would have us hit ourselves to Confusion twice in crucial moments in a row at the end of the game. But the Tampa Bay Steelix win 1-0. Both teams did a great job picking their Pokemon in this one. I mean, obviously, or wouldn't it come down to 1-0? It's even when the computer's pulling shenanigans, the result doesn't turn into a 1-0 finale unless both teams are picking their Pokemon well. So, great job by We Are the Mod Champion picking your team. I apparently did a great job picking my team as well. And that's why it was such a close match. It easily, again, could have gone differently if Donphan only hits itself one of those 2 times. Like, if it doesn't hit itself before hitting Mr. Mime, it has more health to where it could take another Swift. If it doesn't hit itself there at the end, the Earthquake wins it. So, like, if it even would have just hit itself 1 out of 2 times, that could have gone differently. But that's not how it went, and the winner of this one was the Tampa Bay Steelix. So, that's how that turned out. And I believe right now I said I was getting ready for the second matchup. Here's our second matchup. The Houston Ho-Oh and the Pokemon Power. Oh, boy. All these matchups were great. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil anything, but all these matchups were great this week. Man, a lot riding on all these matchups. So right now I'm debating on who to lead with. I believe I ultimately lead with Miltank because it could stomp any of the opposing Pokemon. And for the ones that couldn't stomp, like Primeape and Tyranitar, we had appropriate switch-ins for that. So Miltank is the one I'm going to go with. At first, I was going to go with Forretress. And I was like, no, knowing my luck, I'll put Forretress in, and then Moltres will be the leader. And none of the R5 Pokemon are really great switches to take a Fire Blast. So, ultimately, I go with Miltank. You see me canceling there when I was going to lead Forretress, and instead I decided to go with Miltank. So, yeah. It's a big deal here that some of these matchups. Big playoff implications. In the Powers case, if they won, we'd have a three-way tie for the two seed pretty much again. Yeah, three-way tie for the 2 seed. If the Ho-Oh win, they would be in second place all by themselves, and the Power would have a losing record. So this is a very important battle. Miltank's going to lead off with Stomp, hoping to get that flinch. This team didn't really have a great way to deal with Moltres. When you look at the roster, like Forretress, Bulbasaur, and Bayleaf all want nothing to do with Moltres. Abra and Ghastly are frail. And what happens? The game gets a one-shot knockout with Fire Blast right off the bat. I was looking down at the moment during this commentary, so I don't remember if that was a critical hit or just a big attack. I believe it was a critical hit because I think I was making the point that second week in a row the CPU had a one-hit knockout on a very crucial Pokemon. So, not a great start if you're the Ho-Oh. If you're the Power, you're jumping up and down right now. So Abra comes in because I just needed something fast enough to hit. Like, it couldn't be one of the grass types, so it had to be, and it couldn't be Fortress, so it had to be Abra or Ghastly. I put Abra in because it knows Swagger. So we're going to try to hope that Confusion aids us out of this situation. And it does on the first turn. Moltres hits itself in Confusion. So we're going to probably go with Psychic, because Ice Punch not a great option for a fire flying type. It'd be a neutral hit, so if we're going to hit neutrally, might as well go Psychic. Almost takes out the Moltres, but Moltres hangs on. It's confused. And here comes a Fire Blast. Is this going to be a one-shot because of Abra's low defenses? Really close, but Abra hangs on. Now we go with Ice Punch because I didn't want to waste Psychics if we ended up needing more of them. So here comes the Ice Punch from Abra. Moltres goes down and Abra has itself a knockout. The match is back to 5-on-5. That was going to be the hardest Pokemon for this team to get around, and they've gotten around it, so it's anyone's battle now. Tyranitar comes in. Tyranitar, we did have an answer. We had Bulbasaur and Bayleaf. Bayleaf being the primary answer because it could heal. But I take this opportunity because it doesn't have any super effective moves against Forretress that I'm going to put Forretress in. And the main reason for that is to set up spikes. Because in Forretress's appearances so far this season, it's had one match where spikes really made the difference in that matchup. So I decided to go with spikes here. As we take a not very effective bite. On that turn, I'm going to go spikes on this turn. The reason there was a delay there was I was Googling how spikes worked in Generation 2. It doesn't stack back then. It's only one layer. Critical hit Mud Slap. I don't remember that, so I must have been looking at my phone still, looking up spikes at the time. So there's our spikes. That's the only layer of spikes we can put down in this generation. So now I got to decide what to do. I know Strength isn't going to be very effective, so I decided to go Rollout. Because Rollout, of course, builds in power each turn. So I was thinking, if we get like 4 or 5 turns of Rollout, we might actually beat Tyranitar here one-on-one. Tyranitar with the bite. I'm just waiting for it to flinch me. It doesn't there. We get a Rollout. Again, first turn didn't do much, but I didn't expect the first turn to do much. Tyranitar comes at us again with bite. Is this going to be a turn where it flinches us? Yet again, we get through the flinch. Here comes Rollout. We missed, and now that we're below half health, I decide, you know what, maybe we should get out of there. So I'm going to go Bulbasaur first because I'm trying to save Bayleaf's health, I believe. I know Bayleaf will probably play an important role later since it can heal. I'm going to grab a drink real quick. I'm back. So, yeah, we put Bulbasaur out there, and here comes a bite. Not too bad on the damage there. As you can see, the game switches. Dragonite comes in. I might see if I can put in some music and post it. It won't be the Pokemon Stadium music, but I might see if there's like some royalty-free music I can throw in here or something, just so it's not quiet and me talking, like just the sound of me the whole time. We'll see. No promises, but I'll see if I can muster up the technical prowess to do that. So Dragonite goes for wing attack. I left Bulbasaur in to see if we could get Toxic, because honestly, if I switched at that point, Ghastly and Abra's already damaged. Ghastly's frail. Bayleaf would be super effective. Forretress would be neutral, and it was below half health. So I felt my best option was to just stay in and see if I could Toxic it. It took out the Bulbasaur. So here comes Abra. Very low health, but I'm assuming we'll be faster, and we do have Ice Punch, which is 4 times effective on Dragonite. So here comes the Ice Punch. It's going to be a big hit, but Dragonite hangs on barely. And it'll take out Abra. It gets a critical hit, which it didn't really need there, but it gets a critical hit. Abra goes down. And now we're looking at 2.5 Pokemon remaining against 5. But they're the Pokemon we need to have our best chance to win this. Bayleaf could take down potentially. It could, if it doesn't get poisoned, it could outlast Venusaur. It could beat Tyranitar. It could beat Raichu. And Ghastly could beat Primeape. And also maybe Venusaur. At least at the time I thought it could beat Venusaur. I wasn't sure. Shadow Ball against Dragonite. Dragonite goes down. We got a meaningless critical hit. So 2 meaningless critical hits in a row. So Dragonite's down. And I just said how we could beat the remaining Pokemon. So despite being at a disadvantage number-wise, still feeling pretty good at the moment. Tyranitar comes in, gets hurt by the spikes that Forretress put up earlier. Obviously, I don't want to leave Ghastly in against Tyranitar. So I ultimately am debating right now between Forretress and Bayleaf. I need Bayleaf to have any chance of the Ho-Oh winning this. So for me as the playing manager, I'm trying to keep Bayleaf as safe as I can. But I ultimately throw it out there because we're going to need it. Here comes that bite. So we both have a little bit of damage on us. I actually forget how I started this. I think I started with Razor Leaf. Nope, I went with Safeguard. I don't know why I went with Safeguard unless I thought that they were going to switch. I think I was thinking they were going to switch to like Venusaur. So I wanted to make sure we weren't poisoned. So there's the Sandstorm. I go Razor Leaf this turn. Super effective hit. Super effective hit. Tyranitar's at about half health. Here comes another bite. Ouch. We're not in super great shape. But the one advantage is we are faster than Tyranitar. So at this point, it becomes a game of waiting out the Sandstorm. Can Bayleaf survive long enough for the Sandstorm to go away and us to get more health back than that little bit that we got there? Because when a weather that's not sunny day is active, so when you have a hailstorm, rain, or a sandstorm, you get half of the healing ability from Synthesis. Instead of 50% health, you only get 25% health back. If we were in sunny day, you get 75% health back. And of course, normal circumstances are 50. So I retreat knowing we got to wait out the sandstorm. Fortress comes in. And Tyranitar now going to go with Bite. Fortress takes the not very effective hit. Fortress is mostly in there to help us, again, wait out the sandstorm. It's like, whatever damage you can provide, great, but you're mostly there to keep Ghastly and Bayleaf from getting hit by the sandstorm. Fortress survives another hit. Here comes Strength. Trying that out since Rollout didn't work so well last time. Not all that impactful. Sandstorm is gone. The Safeguard is also gone now. I don't really have a lot of options for moves. So I think I just go Strength again. Here comes Bite from Tyranitar. And that's going to take out the Fortress. So we have 2 Pokemon remaining to take on essentially 3.5 here. So, oh boy. If a comeback's going to happen, the comeback is going to have to start now. Because we're getting desperate and Bayleaf is very hurt. But the Sandstorm is gone and Bayleaf is faster than Tyranitar. So Bayleaf comes in. And I immediately go for Synthesis. Alright, we're going to get 50% of our health back. Another Bite. We're okay. I think I go Synthesis again here. Yep, Synthesis again, so we'll be close to full health. Another Bite from Tyranitar. And now I feel safe enough that I can go for Razor Leaf. Now, as we saw earlier, I don't think this Razor Leaf will take out the Tyranitar, but it will give it a pretty good hit. Tyranitar down to 49 health. Going for Sandstorm. I don't like seeing that, especially because we do not have Fortress anymore, so now we have to wait it out while we can't heal all that well. So, gonna go Razor Leaf, try to take out the Tyranitar while I can. The only good thing at this point was that the remaining Pokemon, we got another meaningless critical hit there. The remaining Pokemon for the power also have to deal with the Sandstorm, so it's a level playing field in that regard. Alright, Primeape comes out. They're both going to be hit by the Sandstorm. There's the Spikes. There's the Sandstorm. Now, Primeape, the thing here is Primeape, while it's normally a pretty good Pokemon, it can't do anything to Ghastly. Thrash can't hit Ghastly, and Cross Chop can't hit Ghastly. So, naturally, I put in Ghastly. And it's situations like this for why my competitive Primeape on my Pokemon games has Stone Edge and Poison Jab, so that if it can't hit a fighting or normal move, we've got other options to work with. Stone Edge in a Ghost Pokemon's case. So I'm debating on what to do, and I ultimately decide to go with, I think I go with Confuse Ray stupidly, because Primeape's already confused from the Thrash, I think. Yep. So, waste of a turn on my end. I dwelled on that for a minute because I was like, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. So now I go for Psychic because all of the remaining Pokemon can get hit pretty hard by Psychic. Primeape goes for Curse, which doesn't really help it here, but again, it can't do anything anyway to Ghastly. Kind of shocked I didn't switch it out. Psychic takes out the Primeape. And, we're down to Venusaur and Raichu against Bayleaf and Ghastly. Now, at this point, I was preaching that Bayleaf can beat Raichu and Ghastly can beat Venusaur. So I was very excited to switch right here after Raichu comes in. The Sandstorm once again is gone. So what it comes down to is if Bayleaf can survive a Thunder, we can use Synthesis. Assuming we're faster than Raichu. If Raichu's faster, we have to either survive 2 or have it miss once. I put Bayleaf in. Thunder number 1 on the way. And a miss. 0 for 1 on the 70% accurate move. Here comes Thunder number 2. It hits, and as you can see by the numbers, if it would have hit both Thunders there, Bayleaf would have been down for the count. So the miss there made a difference already just by the sheer fact that we're still on the field. But that doesn't mean anything. If we get paralyzed, then Raichu will still take out Bayleaf. Another miss, 1 for 3 on the 70% accurate move. Bayleaf goes for Safeguard so we can prevent being paralyzed. So now we're at Body Slam and Razor Leaf. I don't remember what I picked. I might have gone Body Slam. I think I went Razor Leaf, though. Yep, Razor Leaf. Another miss on the Thunder, by the way, so 1 for 4. We get a critical hit Razor Leaf. Right now we're having the kind of luck that the computer usually has against us. 5th Thunder attempt. Finally, another connection, so 2 for 5. Here comes another Razor Leaf. Pretty good hit on Raichu. Pretty good hit. I don't remember if I heal here or if I attack again. Here comes another Thunder. 3 for 6, so 50% at this point. I did go for healing. So Bayleaf's got a lot of its health back. No more healing, though, the remainder of the game. For Bayleaf, it's run out of Synthesis. Here comes a 7th Thunder. Miss. 3 for 7 on Thunder. Under 50% for the 70% accurate move. Raichu still hanging on. It's going to get to fire off another attack. Safeguard's gone, too. It could potentially paralyze Bayleaf with a Thunder. Another miss. 3 for 8. 3 for 8 on Thunder. Here comes Razor Leaf. Raichu goes down. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good about myself because I'm going, oh boy, we can just put Ghastly in and we win. It's over. So, and I go on a little bit of a spiel about I can't believe that the game had Raichu miss so many Thunder. That's what I'm doing pretty much at this moment. In the original recording. Still can't believe it went 3 for 8. Like, not even 50% on a 70% accurate move. Like, that's terrible luck. Definitely would have made a difference in the game. As I pointed out a couple times. Venusaur goes for Giga Drain. 4 times ineffective move, I must say. It did a lot more damage than I was expecting. I know Ghastly's a baby Pokemon, but, like, I still didn't think Giga Drain would hurt us that much. So I go for Confuse Ray. Venusaur fights through it and lands another Giga Drain. So at this point I'm going, uh-oh. There's a chance I might not make it through the next Giga Drain. We gotta go Psychic here. I was debating between Psychic or an Emergency Curse. I do go for Psychic. Good hit on Venusaur. Close to half health. If I wouldn't have gone for Confuse Ray, the second Psychic probably wouldn't have taken it out. Would have been in the red, though. And the Giga Drain that I fought through the Confusion for takes out Ghastly. So now I'm all wide-eyed, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? We got Bayleaf versus Venusaur, and Venusaur has Poison Powder. It could poison us and win the game that way. So this one's down to the wire. It could go either team's way. I'm going to try to go Safeguard, I believe, but Venusaur is faster. It does hit itself in Confusion, allowing me the chance to put up the Safeguard. So at least for a few turns, we cannot be poisoned. Alright, I'm going to go Body Slam. Venusaur's not confused anymore. It goes for Giga Drain. Again, like Ghastly, more damage than I expected, and we can't heal anymore, remember, at this point. So what we've got is what we've got health-wise. We do get a Paralyze on the Body Slam, though, so now Bayleaf is the faster of the two Pokemon. Still not over, though. Like I said, because we're stuck at what we got health-wise. We land another Body Slam. Venusaur at 57 health. Goes for another Giga Drain. Good enough that it'll survive another Body Slam. So if there's a critical hit or something at this point, it could still go either way. We go for Body Slam again. Venusaur down to 15 health. It survived. What's it going to do? It's going for Tackle. It misses the Tackle. So all Bayleaf has to do is connect. If it connects, the Ho-Oh will win. And the Houston Ho-Oh win our second matchup of the day, actually. Our second matchup of the day, 1-0. Another 1-0 final with the Houston Ho-Oh on top. Crazy. Just crazy. 2 1-0 contests to start this this week. Just, wow. That game obviously had some issues as well, just like the first game. If Raichu lands even, say, 2 more of those Thunder, we've got a different result on who wins. So, but both matchups were close, and both matchups to this point of the day had some controversy in them. But that means everyone's doing a good job picking their team. Congratulations to the Ho-Oh there for winning. Everyone's doing a good job picking their teams if the matchups are coming down to stuff like that. All right, our final matchup of the day, a very big one, seeing as what's happened in the 2 previous matches. We've got Doom and Gloom and My Little Ponyta. This is a big one in the league, in that household. Big matchup. Especially with the power having the result that they got. Doom and Gloom really needs to win here if they want to make up some ground. Oh boy. I was instructed by Doom and Gloom to lead with Voltorb here. So that's who we're going to lead with. And I said 3 or 4 times, I hope the game doesn't lead with Sandslash. I hope the game doesn't lead with Sandslash. This is something I will spoil. The game leads with Sandslash. So, my first reaction is, what are we going to do? Because a lot of these Pokemon are frail, and the manager of this team was also reminding me that these Pokemon were frail, so not to do too much switching with his lineup. So, I'm already like, what do I do here? That's why I haven't selected battle or Pokemon. I'm thinking really hard, like, what do I do here? This is a tough spot. Like, this is the one Pokemon I didn't want to lead, and it led. So, still trying to figure out what I'm doing here. As you can see, I thought long and hard about it, because, I mean, I don't like my team to lose, but especially when I'm representing other people's teams, I really don't want to make them lose, because it's someone else's team. I don't want to be the reason that they lose. So I'm thinking all these Pokemon are pretty frail except Snorlax. So I ultimately decide, okay, I got to put Snorlax in. Because just the lesser evil of all the options. So Snorlax waving hi to everybody. Hi, Snorlax. There's that big earthquake, that terrifying earthquake that one-shot Mischievous last week. Yes, I still have not let go of that. So Snorlax is in. Because we already took a pretty good hit and Sandslash is faster, kind of useless to curse at this point. So I'm just going to go for Headbutt. I mean, Curse may have bought us 1 extra turn, but I don't think it would have made a big difference overall in the and how this battle plays out. So there was our headbutt. Here comes another earthquake. I'm hoping that maybe we get lucky and it's a low roll and we survive. Nope. Snorlax goes down. So already My Little Ponyta with an advantage. And now my thoughts are, what do I do to try and take out Sandslash? Because, I mean, the obvious thing is put Staryu in, but if I do that, they're going to switch into something to counter Staryu. Ultimately, after both looking at how this manager wanted their team to be played and kind of meshing that with my own thoughts, I do put Staryu out and I try to predict what they're going to switch into. I'm assuming it's going to be Blissey because of its high special defense. So there's the switch. And wouldn't you know, it was Blissey. So my gut paying off there. So I go with Hitmonlee. Now I'm also aware that My Little Ponyta brought Gengar. So now I'm assuming they're going to switch again so that we can't hit Gengar. So I got to make the determination on, do I already switch again or do I try to do an attack? I'm going to switch again and hope for the best. Sorry for the quiet spells there, folks. Voice is getting a little sore, tired, however you want to phrase it, since I record these and then had to turn around and record it again. So, yeah, I'm going to need some water breaks here and there. So Gengar does come out. I decided to go for Magnitude because I figure even if they take Gengar out, something's going to get hit with Magnitude. So Sandslash comes back in. That's great, in my opinion, because Dugtrio can outspeed it. So if we get a high enough roll, maybe we can take it out. We get a 7. And we got a critical hit on top of that 7. So now we're in range where if we could get another 7 or better, we probably take out Sandslash. So we go first. We're hoping for a high number. We get an 8. But Sandslash survives somehow. I thought for sure a 7 would take it out. The 8 doesn't do so. It hits us with Earthquake. We're pretty frail, but we do survive. Now we don't have to switch because we are faster. So we're going to stay in. It's only got 14 health, so even if we get Magnitude 4, we're okay. We get a 6. So Sandslash goes down, and that's the biggest problem for this team, believe it or not. Not so much... Like, I know Kadabra is terrifying, but Sandslash was a big problem for this particular team because of how frail everything was. So Psyduck comes in. Obviously, Dugtrio is fast, so I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it for later because it might be able to outspeed something. So I put in Staryu, thinking, okay, water on water. This won't hurt very much. So Staryu's the better play. Psyduck, the cheerleader for the Ponyta, gets its first attack of the season. Critical hit, Surf. I've only seen maybe in my entire life of playing Pokemon, maybe 2 critical hit Surfs my entire life. And Psyduck lands a critical hit Surf on its first attack of the season. Come on. So I go for Recover because I assumed they would switch. So I take that opportunity to get Staryu its health back. Blissey's going to go Thunder here. So I got to watch that. I know these Pokemon are frail, but like we don't want Staryu taking a Thunder. So we got to do some switching despite the manager telling me they didn't want too much switching. So Dugtrio comes out, assuming it'll be Thunder. So it obviously has no effect on us. So we're going to go Magnitude because Blissey has very low physical defense. I know it might be able to take us out with Egg Bomb, but we just need a good hit at this point. We get a 6, of course. We don't get like an 8 or a 9. Here comes Egg Bomb. Do we survive or does it take us out? We did survive, so we can do one more hit if we want. I decide, hey, you know what? Again, Dugtrio is fast. Let's save it for later, even though it's on low health. We know it's going to go Egg Bomb at this point. so we can put something in to take the hit from Egg Bomb. So I think I ultimately decide on Hitmonlee. Took me a while, though, because, again, frail Pokemon. You got to really think. Hitmonlee is honestly the most sturdy of the 5 remaining, and that's not saying a lot. So, thinking long and hard about this one, because I want to make the best possible decision I can make. Because I was like, well, I could put Voltorb in, but no, let's go Hitmonlee. All right, so we got Hitmonlee. It's going to get hit by the Egg Bomb. Not very much damage, so that works out. I'm assuming they're going to switch to Gengar again, so I'm immediately trying to switch. I believe I go back to Dugtrio again. But again, I paused for a moment before making a decision, because if I'm wrong here, Egg Bomb takes out Dugtrio. So, I ultimately decided I was going to put Dugtrio in. And wouldn't you know, they do switch out Blissey. So Gengar's in. I don't know at this point if we're faster than Gengar or not, but I'm going to chance it and go for Magnitude. And we are faster. We get a 6, though. Again, if we get a high number, it's a one-shot. We get a 6. Gengar survives the hit, but we did some good damage at least. Dugtrio put in some good work this battle. So Dugtrio goes down to the Nightshade. So this one's still pretty tough. It's 5-on-4, but we got a couple Pokemon like Gengar that have been damaged at this point. So now I'm debating on what to do. I think I ultimately go for Voltorb because I'm debating. I thought about putting Houndoom in because we could hit it super effectively. But Gengar is faster than Houndoom. At least I believed it was. I think it is. So I was worried it would use Hypnosis and put us to sleep. So I was like, I think Voltorb's the only thing that has a shot at outspeeding Gengar and having a chance to hit it before it could use Hypnosis. So Voltorb makes an appearance here. And with Sandslash gone, we're free to go for Thunder without any threat of an immunity Pokemon coming in. So we're going to go with Thunder and hope it hits. Here it comes. And it does hit. Gengar goes down to Voltorb. So, ended up being the right call, but that was a high-risk, high-reward play there. So with Gengar gone, the game puts in the dreaded Kadabra. For this, we obviously still have a Dark type available, so I'm going to switch into Houndoom, because I'm not even sure that Voltorb could survive a Psychic in order to get an attack off. So we're going to switch. So we got Houndoom in the game. The Psychic's obviously not going to work because we're a Dark type. Alright, so we're going to go with Bite, because I figured if they do switch, Bite will be pretty good against anything that's remaining. They stay in for some bizarre reason. The computer makes these decisions sometimes. And goes for Reflect, which will help against physical moves, but we're using a special move, at least as far as Gen 2 is concerned. So Kadabra takes a massive shot. So I'm like, surely it'll come out now because of Reflect. Nope. Game leaves it in. It's going to Thunder Punch us. But in typical fashion, for both Kadabra and the My Little Ponyta this season, it gets a critical hit. Gets rid of half of Houndoom's health. So even though Kadabra doesn't get any knockouts, it does land a crucial critical hit before it gets taken out. Of course it does. So Kadabra actually goes down without getting any knockouts this week. That's amazing in itself. Psyduck makes a return as a water Pokemon here against Houndoom. Right now, I'm still like, I can't believe it. They threw away Kadabra. Just very stunned with that. So I'm thinking right now, surely the game won't give Psyduck a second critical hit Surf. I've only seen 2 in my entire life playing Pokemon on Surf. Coming into this battle, Psyduck's already had one. Surely we won't have another critical hit Surf at some point. So here comes another Surf. Alright, no critical hit. But I also mentioned I bet you that it gets another critical hit if the game gives it enough chances. I made that comment at this point. We'll see if it comes true, but I do remember making that comment. Psyduck going to return back to the Pokeball. So we got Blissey again. So we're going to Thunder into the Blissey. You might ask why I didn't predict the switch there. I mean, the game was dumb enough to leave Kadabra in against Bite, so I wasn't sure if it'd be dumb enough to leave Psyduck in or not. So now I'm looking at my options. I figure, well, it's going to use Thunder on Staryu, so let's put Voltorb in to take a lessened hit. So Voltorb is on the battlefield. Blissey goes for Thunder. It hits us and paralyzes us, so now the once fast Voltorb is not fast anymore. Reflect is gone, though, for Blissey. So I go, you know what? The manager of this team gave me a very specific set of conditions for this one move. This matches it. Now that Gengar's gone, we're going to go self-destruct. But Blissey uses Defense Curl, upping its defense. So we go self-destruct here. And again, if we weren't paralyzed, we would have gone first. The paralysis and defense curl make a difference, and Blissey survives the hit. It's at 8 health, but if we were paralyzed, we would have gone before the defense curl, and we would have taken it out. But with the paralysis, we were slowed down enough, it was able to survive with the defense curl. Funny. It doesn't make a big difference in the long-term part of this game, but it made a difference on that turn. Alright, so we got Staryu in there, and I'm going to go for Psychic, because we don't want to miss here when it's only got 8 health. So Staryu takes down Blissey with Psychic, and that's huge. Blissey, along with Sand Slash, big obstacle for this lineup to overcome. So now we got Jinx out there. We got Staryu, Hitmonlee, and a damaged Houndoom against Jinx and Psyduck. So I put out Houndoom, thinking, okay, it's a dark type. Confusion won't hurt us, and we got the fire advantage against ice as well, so Houndoom should be able to win this matchup. So here we go. We got Mean Look. Heck yeah, I'll take Mean Look. I don't want to switch. I want Houndoom in there against you. So I decided to go for Bite. Jinx is going to go with Ice Punch. Freezes us on the first Ice Punch. Very first Ice Punch it throws out in the whole battle. Freeze. It's the same thing that happened a few weeks back against Raikou. Unbelievable. Bizarrely enough, Jinx switches out even though we're frozen. And Psyduck comes in. Yeah, nowadays, just like Confusion, Freeze does wear off in the current Pokemon games. But back then, that was it, unless you got hit by a fire move, and who's going to be dumb enough to use a fire move on a frozen Pokemon? So, Psyduck, Staryu. We put Staryu in to take on Psyduck. Alright. Still no critical hit Surf again. I'm really complaining about that because I couldn't believe that it happened. So we go recover, get as much health back as we can. The idea is that we take one more regular hit and then go for Thunder. A second critical hit Surf. I had only seen maybe 2 in my life coming into this. Psyduck's got 2 in the same battle. Staryu with the recover again because that critical hit forced us into recovery mode. We get a regular Surf to hit us that time, so now we can safely go for Thunder. Oh, boy. So I go for Thunder, hoping I can hit it, maybe knock it out, maybe paralyze it. We do hit it. No paralysis, no knockout. All right, here comes another Surf. Surely we won't get a third critical hit Surf. We don't on that turn, thank goodness. But I'm so paranoid at this point because of the other two, I'm going to go into recovery mode again. Because I don't want to get hit by a third Surf that's a critical hit if we would happen to miss Thunder. Or whatever our attack was. So Psyduck Surfs again. We get hit with regular damage again. And now I decide I'm going to go with Psychic to guarantee that we hit it. So Staryu takes out Psyduck. So we got Jinx against a Frozen Houndoom, a 3/4 health Staryu, and a Hitmonlee who's weak to Psychic. So that's what we got to work with. So Jinx returns. It's got full health. I decided to switch in Houndoom because I assumed it was going to go with Confusion. Since Ice Punch was not very effective, I was like, well, maybe I can make it waste some of its moves here. It uses Mean Look, so now we're just stuck in there anyway. So all I can do is just pick moves and wait for it to eventually take out Houndoom. So here comes an Ice Punch. 31 health remaining. Once again, we're frozen. Got to pick an attack. I thought about switching, and I was like, that's stupid. Why would I do that at this point? Let's just go ahead and take the hit. Use up another Ice Punch. Ice Punch takes out Houndoom. So Jinx still at full health. Has Staryu and Hitmonlee to deal with. I figured I would put Hitmonlee out there first because it is weak to Confusion. It wouldn't be very reliable to put all the hopes on at the very end of the battle. So, yeah. So Hitmonlee's out there. And I start trying to figure out, okay, Mega Kick does 120. High Jump Kick, once you factor in Stab, does a little more than 120. So we're going to go High Jump Kick. Because it's got a higher chance to hit anyway. So there's Confusion. Hitmonlee does survive the attack, so it's going to get to attack at least once. High Jump Kick. And it does a heck of a lot more damage than I was expecting. Jinx is now down in the red. We have actually given Staryu a relative chance in this one. Jinx this turn takes out the Hitmonlee. So it comes down to Jinx and Staryu. And now I have started another debate. Can Psychic from Staryu take out Jinx at 34 health? Because Jinx has pretty high special defense. And we are an unevolved Pokemon. So I'm debating, do I go Thunder Hydro Pump or do I go Psychic? Ultimately, I decide I'm going to go Psychic because I'd rather lose picking the move that I know is going to hit than pick a move that might not hit and then get possibly ragged on about it later. So I go for Psychic, hoping for the best. 5 health. 5 health left. Here comes Confusion from Jinx. 72 left. Okay, Staryu survives the Confusion. Here comes another Psychic. If it lands, this one is over. David throws the rock, and it hits Goliath right on the head. Down goes Goliath. David wins. And Doom and Gloom has pulled off the upset of the season. Doom and Gloom has defeated the almighty My Little Ponyta. Unbelievable. And another 1-0 matchup at that. All 3 battles resulting in 1-0 finals today. Unreal. At this point, I was so stunned, I couldn't think of anything to say. Doom and Gloom won. I was basically just going, I don't know what I just saw. Doom and Gloom won. Great job. My Little Ponyta picked a good team. I don't know what else to add. I'm just rambling at this point. Like, that was basically the state of mind I was in. Like, I did not know how to process that immediately, but Doom and Gloom, an incredible upset. And, boy, the standings are interesting now. The standings are very, very interesting now with 4 weeks to go. Eventually here, I'm going to transition over to the Excel spreadsheet, the league standings and statistics. Again, I'm stunned at this point, so I'm just like, what do I say? There we go. So My Little Ponyta now at 9-2, Houston Ho-Oh 7-4, Tampa Bay Steelix at 6-5, the Pokemon Power 5-6. Doom and Gloom now just a game out of the playoff race at 4-7. Where the Mont Champions still alive at 2-9, but they need to start getting some wins here. So interesting is My Little Ponyta, if they would have won today and the Houston Ho-Oh lost, they would have actually clinched the 1 seed. Like, no matter what happened. Now, they still have their clinched playoff spot, but technically they could still blow the 1 seed in the next 4 weeks. It's unlikely, in my opinion, but it's mathematically possible. So that's where the standings are right now. Everyone still has a shot at the playoffs. I also announced this video, and I will announce it again right now since I'm re-recording. All 6 teams will get to play the first week of the playoffs. The playoffs will only include 4 teams. But for those of you that are familiar with like college football and the bowl game concept, we're going to have like a bowl game, like a consolation game between 5th and 6th to kick off the first week of the playoffs. Like basically we'll start week 16 with the consolation game and then the 2 first-round playoff games. So all 6 teams will still get to participate that 16th week. And then week 17, the championship will just have the 3rd place game and the championship game. So even if you don't make the playoffs, those of you that don't make the playoffs will get 1 extra game if you want to partake in it. Obviously, if you don't want to partake, you can choose not to, but why not just do it for 1 extra battle at that point? And I'm now 24-9 against the computer this season after going 2-1. The computer's really had my number the last couple weeks. It's starting to pull off some victories. Interesting timing, seeing as we're getting down the stretch of the season where we're close to playoffs. Going to make it that much harder for people to pick if they're having me represent them or the computer in the playoff, in my opinion. I think most of the teams would probably still rather have me instead of the computer, but it's getting interesting enough that I'm not going to be upset if someone does pick the computer. All right. So I'm getting ready to go over the statistics here for some of the teams. There we go. So for my team, Magneton and Quillfish both had a pretty good performance. Mr. Mime with 3 knockouts today. So my team's looking rather interesting. I was very happy with how all my Pokemon performed today. Even Jumpluff, like I didn't get a knockout, but it still helped contribute to damage on Pokemon. So I was happy with that. So, yep. I don't know why I spent so much time on my team. That's pretty much all I said. We're going to move on to Doom and Gloom past me. There we go. Doom and Gloom Staryu now the leader at 10-5 for the knockout faint ratio. Houndoom also in 2nd now. So they're kind of leading the charge for that team. Funny that Staryu is the knockout leader when it's played in half the games. Like, that's interesting when you think about it. I didn't think I spent that much time analyzing all the teams, but apparently I must have spent more time on it than I realized. The Houston Ho-Oh Bayleaf now carrying this team once again. It is the only Pokemon that has played in every matchup for its team so far this season, I believe. We'll see with Ursaring's numbers here in a minute. Bayleaf, 17 knockouts. It's definitely one of the candidates for MVP at this point. I know if you go strictly off of ratio, everyone wants to pick Kadabra, but when I think MVP, I think most valuable to the team's success. And Kadabra, like, I feel like Jinx does just as much work as Kadabra. Like, I think at the time I made a Michael Jordan Scottie Pippen reference. I was like, despite the good ratio, Kadabra kind of feels like the Scottie Pippen on their team this season, especially as it hasn't played and it hasn't shown up to as many matches either. It's still very dangerous, of course, but I just feel like Jinx has played a larger role, if that makes sense. So right now, I'd say the race is probably between Jinx, Kadabra, and Bayleaf for MVP. Obviously, we got 4 more weeks of the season to go, plus playoffs. So we got a while to go before we figure that out. I need to go back and look at when I decided those things last season for the awards. Because if I did it before the playoffs, I'm going to need to know that so I don't factor in playoffs. We'll see. I think I did include the playoffs before, but we'll see. Yeah, Jinx and Kadabra leading the way for My Little Ponyta. Psyduck actually played pretty well today. I mean, the 2 critical hits, and you think about a Staryu didn't recover like 7 times. Psyduck would have had a knockout on it. So, Psyduck actually performed pretty well. I won't be shocked if this manager makes Psyduck a cheerleader again for future matchups, but Psyduck performed well enough I could see it showing up again at some point this season. In particular, if they play a team where they're heavily weak to water or something. Yeah, I must have spent a lot of time talking about some of these. I don't know why, because I'm basically giving the same analysis. I guess I was just wordier or maybe had more pauses in the analysis. Pokemon Power up next. I think I was still talking about Psyduck at this point. That's why it only changed a little bit. Come on, past me. You gonna move it to the power? Huh? There we go. Dragonite now the leader for the Pokemon Power. At 10 knockouts, 6 faints. This one was just bad luck. I mean, Primeape got matched up against Ghastly that had no chance against. Raichu missed a lot. If it would have landed, say, 2 more Thunders, the game would have been different. But that's how it goes sometimes. As I know all too well with my own team this season. So just bad. So good lineup, but just bad luck this week for the Power. Finally, we are the Mod Champion. Yep, Ursaring has made an appearance in every game, so Ursaring and Bayleaf, the only 2 that have done that this season. Suicune was a monster this week. It had 3 knockouts. It performed very well. Muck did all right. Ursaring was unfortunate with that critical hit from the Jump Love headbutt. If it would have been a normal headbutt, we would have been able to get a rest off and keep it going. And Wobbuffet was unfortunate because it got matched up with a Pokemon that had physical and special moves. And I haven't guessed that right once with the computer, so I don't know if the computer cheats there or what. But whenever it's a Pokemon that has a physical and a special move, it always picks the one you don't pick when you're running Wobbuffet on this game. It doesn't do that in the main Pokemon games, but on this game, it always picks the one that you don't expect. It might do the same attack 3 times in a row, and then on the 4th time do something different. So, unfortunate there. Wobbuffet does better if the Pokemon only has physical or only has special. Unfortunately, that's not how it got matched up. But yeah, that's how everything played out this week. Upcoming matchups, we've got the Tampa Bay Steelix at home next week against Doom and Gloom. That'll be a big game for both teams. If Doom and Gloom win, they'll either be just a game behind the Steelix and the Power, or if the Power lose as well, they'll be tied, maybe even in the playoff spot. So big matchup for both of those 2 teams. Houston Ho-Oh playing at My Little Ponyta. My Little Ponyta finally ending its long road stretch. It had 3 games in a row that the computer was representing that team. Finally, they're back under my control. The way the computer's been lately, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Ponyta. Yeah, they do get 3 of their last 4 games are under my control. So first place looking pretty good for them. I really doubt that they'll lose first place. And the Pokemon Power at home against We Are the Mod Champion. more important games there. Pokemon Power trying to fend off Doom and Gloom. We are the Mod Champion trying to catch up. So a couple more big matchups next week. It's so fun. This was such a great week. Everyone did such a great job picking their Pokemon. You don't get every game coming down to 1-0 or being decided by a missed attack or a confusion or something unless everyone's picking their teams well. Because if people aren't picking their teams well, you get those 5-0 victories, etc. So great job, everyone, picking your teams. Makes it a lot more fun, a lot more competitive when everyone's picking as well as everyone is. I hope everyone's having as much fun with it as I am. So like I said, we got some big matchups next week. I'm excited. And if you liked what you saw here today, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that YouTube nonsense. Hopefully our audio doesn't kick out next week in Week 12 matchups. We'll see. But again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. It really means a lot to me that everyone supports the channel. I will see you next week with another week of Pokemon Stadium 2 Draft League battles. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.